I am doing my very first 120-hour fast with the rest of the Crusaders inside Crusadia. I'm gonna give you a day-by-day breakdown. Everything that I did, I'll kind of come back and talk to you guys about each day in this video. Go through day 1, how I trained, how I'm feeling. Day 2, how I trained, what I did, how I'm feeling. Boom, repeat. I'm gonna go through insights at single hour marks that I'll have an actual record of in my own head, where I present it to you, what to expect, things that kind of come out of sorts that I wasn't expecting. It's all gonna be yours. But that's everything we're gonna talk about in this video. I'll explain to you, even with other insights of guys, that kind of what they're going through, things that may have been a little bit weird. Every day in the fireplace, I'm gonna be talking with the Crusaders about each day of the fast, 12 p.m. EST every single day through this fast. So I'm looking forward to it. This is what we're looking at, right? A little bit of a side. You guys know me, I'm not the type to be flexing on big stages. That's not how I do it, right? But it'll be interesting to see how we look before and after. Maybe we do this every single day to see how we're looking, but honestly, I'd rather do day 0 and day 5. I'm gonna show you guys in the next clip what my death row meal is. It's gonna be my last meal. And then prior to then, you guys ain't gonna see me eat till day 5. It is Sunday night. I'm gonna go up and dangle the donut, come back down, show you guys the meal, my last meal prior to not eating till what will be Friday, I believe. So it's kind of crazy to think. It's freaking Sunday, I'm not eating till Friday. You guys working through the week like, yeah, I got a long week ahead of me. I ain't eating till Friday. Uncle Ram, you don't have to do that. Yeah, I do. It's a nationwide mission. Everyone's fasting. We're here to do the impossible. Anyways, see you guys in the next clip. This is our death row meal. It is a whole sea bass, stuffed it with some onions, gonna do a little bit of garlic inside, veggies, yes, guts are inside, and we are going to toss them in the oven. Can't believe this is gonna be my last meal. All right. We got the death row meal, baby. You see that? Absolutely gorgeous. Got the whole fish. Oh, just got done dangling. Yeah, I should tuck in. All right, let's tuck in like gentlemen. Half tuck, because I'm ready for war. This is the death row meal. I'm gonna have myself a little bit of milk. I'm gonna miss it a lot. Fish with the guts, bunch of veggies. That's gonna be it for me. Man, it's so sad to think. What time is it? Hold on, let me check the time. Sunday, August 17th, and it is 10:56. Gonna be the last meal, and I'm gonna enjoy this one by myself. I'll have a couple bites with you guys, get some guts in there. Wow, that's actually unbelievable. Man, that's kind of sad. You know, you're like, this is it? This is my death row meal? But let's think, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It is Sunday night, and I'm not gonna be eating till Friday. That's crazy. I already mentioned this earlier, but think about it. Most people go to work Monday. I'm actually getting started early, if you think about it. But this will be last meal. What I'll do from here is basically a video once a day, kind of going over what I did and explain how I'm feeling. Why is this my last meal? Because it sounded great. It's perfect, down the hatch, nutritious, ton of salt. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'll see you in 24 hours. All right, 24 hours in. How I'm feeling right now? I feel normal. 24 hours, I sometimes accidentally do OMAD in 24 hours. However, I will say, you know, not eating grub after the lift, a little bit of adjusting. That was rude. Right? Objective. I'm 24 hours in. Are you trying to get me angry? But I would say it's weird. I kind of went at a slower pace today. I almost felt like I'm trying to pace myself for 120 hours. Work was pretty solid in terms of my output. Very normal. What did I consume? I had 3 double espressos today at the coffee shop that's actually right down there. Mineral water, salt, lemon. Not like eating a lemon, but squeezed lemon. And that was pretty much it. I did sparkling water, because it's mineral water, just to get a little bit of that stuff going, you know what I mean? And then a lot of nicotine gum. That was absolutely down the hatch. I felt like I was dialed, but a very calm dialed. You know, it wasn't like brute force, I'm dialed in. It's very calm, very, very calm today. That's how I describe how I'm feeling. So that's what I consumed, how I'm feeling training wise on the first 24 hours. The way I like to run it is same intensity, same amount of volume, nothing changes on that first day. So today I smashed shoulders, traps, and I finished off with neck. That was pretty stupid, to be honest with you. Neck, it had me feeling a little bit seeing doubles out here. But other than that, feeling pretty solid. Here the transformation is how I'm looking 24 hours after the fast. Should see a nice little overlay for you. Uncle Rami coming in with a little bit of the editing game. Got some help from my boy. So that's how we're looking at the 24-hour mark. That's everything that I did training-wise, consumption-wise, and how I'm feeling. Obviously, consumption's pretty straightforward. I try to dial it down on the coffee a little bit, not for any other reason. I want to get a good night's rest. I already can feel myself getting a bit more tired, and we're 24 hours in. Usually I'm sleeping pretty late, waking up pretty early, but I think tonight I might be sleeping pretty good, which is pretty surprising. So I'm pretty calm. Who knows, maybe tomorrow you see a very energetic version. I don't know what you guys are going to get, but very calm today. Training as normal. Tomorrow I'll let you know about the training, just like every single day. I'll let you know what I did training-wise, how I'm feeling, what I consumed. All right, I'll see you guys in the next 24. I'll see you at 48 hours. All right, hour 48. Two things. Number one, the amount of cleaning you have to do is actually zero. You realize any and all cleaning that you have to do is because of food purposes. It's due to consumption every single time. So I've saved a lot of time there. However, I did wake up this morning and felt like I was an absolute shell of myself. There's really no other way to put it. And then I realized during the fast, I'm like, I barely drink water throughout the day. The only thing I drink is my hydration potion, maybe a couple times a day, and that's it. It usually does me right. But on this fast, it's water. So I just started cranking mineral water. Huge difference. If you guys are on a fast, you don't even have to do salt with mineral water because it has all of it. It's fantastic. Absolute game changer when it comes to legitimately staying hydrated throughout. So cranked a lot of sparkling water. If you're in the States, sparkling waters we're gonna have to go, but here in Albania they have regular still water that's mineral. Absolutely down the hatch. Chugged a bunch of water this morning. Energy's back up, but it is very calm. Like, it is extremely calm. So I'd say I was definitely a little bit wound down today. Super productive, but just very calm. Super decisive. I hate, that's the one thing I hate about this place. It's just fucking noise all the time. Irritable, obviously. Just no bandwidth for bullshit. I'll be honest with you, I'm ready to eat. Not even because I'm hungry. I just want nourishment. What did I consume today? Water and coffee. Ton of water, Arabic coffee, Turkish coffee, if you know, you know. No grounds at the bottom though, because I know there's some stuff in there, so we want to keep it clean, obviously. We ain't dirty fasting. We're real fasting. Another thing a lot of you guys trying to get around it, Diet Coke's technically 0 calories. That's disingenuous, is the best way I've heard it worded. It's just disingenuous, honestly. You just fast like a man. You know what I'm saying? You signed up. Go make it happen. Stop trying to cut corners. Anyways, and then for the lift today, I lifted legs. Rami, you're a psychopath. It's uncle to you. Okay, if you're gonna call me a psychopath, at least call me Uncle Rami, you're a psychopath. But yeah, I did legs, but I did legs with reps in reserve. So I did 1 to 2 sets on about everything. Probably did about 8, 9 sets today, straight sets, not superset supremacy, but heavy weight, but just cut it 1 shy short of failure kind of deal. So reps in reserve, maybe even 2 on a couple of them. Yeah, it's weird. You have like this weird brain fog, but with clarity. It's extremely odd. I've got 3 more days to go, so 72 more hours. I have a feeling after tomorrow, we're gonna be looking a lot better. First 2 days were not easy. Last night, not gonna lie, was a little bit rough, you know, before I went to sleep. That's another thing. Sleeping was just not fun. Just went to bed. I'm just like, wow. I realized how much dangling the donut, me smashing my meals at the end of the night, it gives me this emotional feedback loop that's just incredible. And now I don't have that. So I just fucking work all the time. But it's just all Crusadia all day long, you know, and I'm really having to move things forward extremely quickly. Wearing a lot of different hats right now. Working out is just a very side effect of when I do stuff. So that's what it is. For me, Crusadia is everything, and I just lift because it keeps my mind callous as fast as also making me realize a lot of things. Not like, oh, so not there yet. I'll probably get there at the 96-hour mark where I'm like, this is stupid. I should just break. But we said 120. 120 is what we're going to do. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow for 72 hours. Hour 72, well actually 73 technically, even more. But today was definitely a day where it's just like, you're just in it. Like minor discomfort, but throughout the whole day. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'd rather actually experience extreme hunger than having to experience like that minor discomfort that constantly reminds you, because technically you can do other stuff, but it doesn't force you into presence. It's just constantly reminding you, almost like a nagging injury. You know, if it's a huge injury, you're thinking about that injury. But when it's just like a nagging one, or like you pull your neck or something, it just constantly reminds you. But per usual, how did I lift today? I hit arms, forearms, and abs. And what I did was just basically just heavy enough weight to really get some muscle-mind connection. Nothing till failure, more reps and reserves than yesterday with leg day. But just focused on that with abs, with forearms especially. Hunger, I'm not really even experiencing hunger. I did have it in certain stints. If people are talking about, and we had a few fireplaces in Crusadia today, guys talking about, yeah, I bite into, you know, I took my first bite into this bison. It was so juicy and salty. I'm sitting there like, okay, bro, I can't be hearing all that. But I'm not like hungry. A couple ridiculous smells, to be honest with you. I went down to this coffee shop here and I got this waft of just incredible food. That just sounded so nice, but I'm not like, I'm so hungry. I'm just low on energy. My bandwidth for bullshit is just not there. I'm not irritable, but just super direct. You know, I don't have the energy to word things extremely kindly. But I preface, I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna be extremely straightforward. It might sound like I'm being angry, but I'm not. I'm just very direct. I don't have the ability to just word things in a nice tone all the time. It's like, listen, this is what you're gonna get. For what I consumed today, I probably could have drank a bit more water. I kind of came under it today, but try to speed it up at the end of the day. I had a few double espressos. I had 2 double espressos, a little bit of Arabic coffee, some sparkling water, some still water. What else can we do? And then did my baking soda per usual with water, sparkling water. And then I basically was on calls all day today. So I'm having to just like, that's the thing is when you're on calls in this state of mind, you're just like, oh, this could end bad. This could end bad. But I will say today was one of those days where it's like, if I get over today, it's all downhill from here. Because I got that 96 left, and then I have the 120 for my victory lap. And then that'll be that. And so what I'm also considering doing is making this a video just on the fasting and how I trained and what I consumed and how I felt throughout the whole thing. And then doing a separate video on the refeed and how I actually refeed to then basically hold on to all the benefits I grabbed from doing the fast itself, because that's where most people fall apart. But this is obviously Crusadia nationwide challenge. And so watching guys get through stuff, it makes me feel good. You know, like you have to show up, you got to cheer for them too, man, because that's not easy, man. This shit's hard. People are breaking PR fast. Doesn't matter if yours is longer. Like, dude, a PR is a PR. You know, like that requires that type of discomfort that you're feeling, they're feeling too. And so it actually forces me to be like, don't worry about how you're feeling. Like, make sure you're showing up for these guys. That's what I love about Crusadia, but that's it. That's how I train. That's how I'm feeling. Sleep has been a bit weird the past couple nights. Hopefully tonight I sleep like a baby. I'm absolutely exhausted. That's my plan. This is how I'm looking. Show you guys the video. Me turning around every single day. I'm definitely leading this shit out, man. I'm getting pretty lean right now. Feels like the muscle's preserving. That's why everyone keeps asking, why are you lifting during a fast? It's to preserve muscle. Not enough to where I'm getting fatigued, but just to stimulate. Just to stimulate, let them know I still need you. That's why I do it. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for hour 96. Good night. See you tomorrow. All right, hour 96. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm pretty over this. I'm pretty over this by now. I'm just at a point where it's like, you know, you get used to it. Yesterday, I think I spoke on, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but pretty sure I spoke on like there's like a tinge of uncomfort that you walk with. That is completely evaporated, but it's just like everything, like even sitting down to put the camera together, like you feel that energy being disposed of. Also extremely just direct, you know, you have zero bandwidth for wording things with cushion. You don't mean anything mean intentionally, but it's such a direct response in how you deliver simply because you don't have the bandwidth for anything else. What did I do today? What did I consume? A pot of Arabic coffee, no espressos, went back to the basics, and then water, mineral water, regular water. I mean, what else is there? Let's be real. And then what else did I do? Oh, workout wise, I did chest and back. I did weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, superset. I supersetted everything. Just basically chest exercises, back exercise, like cable rows. I basically did calisthenics and machine work, like on the cable machine. Muscle mind connection, but more so just like ripping out reps and making sure that everything was there. Definitely a lot of reps in reserve, some till failure, but I don't think it's real failure at this point. I just think the gas tank is completely empty. I do feel like I have kept on basically all of my muscle. And that's why I'm gonna show the, you know, the video of me turning around, you know, checking it out, looking at the muscles, boom. Probably thinking, Uncle Rami, why is your beard half shaven? Well, that's kind of the day that it was today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not kidding. I was shaving with my beard trimmer and it just ran out of battery halfway through. So I had to recharge it. And I thought to myself, I was like, screw it, why not? You guys see the mustache? Took a nice shower in my head, I'm like, screw it. I feel like having a mustache. So I just did the mustache. I will say you don't think on decisions like that. Like some people will be like, I don't know, do I want to do a mustache? In my head, I was like, all right, I feel like a mustache, so I'm just gonna do it. What else? Oh, hunger-wise, how I'm feeling. What did I lift? I don't know, there's usually 3 questions, but I forgot, to be honest. You're already getting plenty in this video. Okay, and the camera, do you notice how the light's up? You're like, wow, it's, you know, so nice, it's so lightful. Yeah, I'm staring right into the abyss of the light, which means I'm gonna be blind for the next 30 minutes. Anything for the Crusaders. What else? At this point, I'm not even hungry, and I really haven't been too hungry through this fast. Although today we're in the fireplace and people kept talking about like Culvers and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell? Why are we talking about this? There was one guy, he's my guy, man. I love him to death. His name's Joseph. He started talking about this ground bison. He's like, you bite into it and it's just so juicy and the salt flakes. I'm like, all right, bro, let's take it easy. You know, let's calm it down. You know, so I've been hearing that today in the fireplace. Everyone's hitting PR fast pretty much. I've got 24 hours left. 96 is as far as I've gone, and we're at the 96-hour mark. And so I have a victory lap to do tomorrow. That's what I consider. It's a victory lap. Last 24, I know I'm gonna be looking at that last 2 hours. Like, can you please speed this up along? So what I'm planning on doing, and I'll share with this tomorrow at the 120-hour mark, but I'm gonna do a separate video on the refeed because I think the refeed is not just important when you get into the 96, 120 due to stem cell generation, because that's where we're at right now. The symptoms from the last time I did the 96 hours, I was getting a lot of flare-ups, but that's just stem cell generation on the musculoskeletal system. So you actually will experience flare-ups sometimes, but experience 0 so far, which means my body just might be just locked in. Maybe that's why I feel like absolute dog shit right now. You know, it's like my body doesn't have too much cleanup to do, and so it's just exhausted. But it's weird. It's not like exhaustion as in I can't move. It's just like every time you move and do something, it requires a lot of energy. Getting up, sitting down, putting this together required energy. It's kind of crazy. But that's it for the 96 hours. I will see you tomorrow at the 120-hour mark. I'm probably not gonna eat in this video, but just share where I'm at, how everything happened, what I learned. And then I'm also gonna break down the benefits of fasting, hour by hour mark. Yeah, Uncle Rami's coming at you hot with the fasting. Screw it, we're already here. You think I play games? Uncle Rami, how you feeling? Dog, it's business as usual. And I'm not gonna lie, work has been so intense, but anything for Crusadia, I will die for this mission. Anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. 120 hours, boys. You wanna check this out? Check this out, hold on. Feeling absolutely diced right now. Felt like I absolutely knocked it out the park. How I'm feeling? By the way, I'm putting the shirt back on. Why? Because we're going to talk in like absolute gentlemen, right? Now, it's back to business as normal. But how I'm feeling right now, there's a lot of things I'll say that were pretty spectacular as a result of this fast that I didn't honestly feel like doing. But I'm really happy I decided to go through with it. And it's not for any other reason, honestly, but I knew I didn't want to do this from the beginning, but it was because I know in my head, it's like, well, you're dialed in, you're doing everything right. Look at you, bro. Right now, like, you're killing it, you're doing all this stuff. Life has never been as intense as it is right now, and having to learn a lot of things that, how do you make the right decisions in the right moment? You don't have bandwidth for BS. And coming from someone that is used to having an abundance of energy when you're running low on it, it forces you to get resourceful with your mind, to learn what actually matters, what doesn't matter. And the number one thing, and I'm gonna expand on the lessons that I kind of learned from this, is honestly more of a reminding of you are on the right path, which is pretty cool to have. But the subconscious mind comes to the forefront. It's the subconscious mind with its hands on the wheel that makes the decisions. Your conscious mind goes to sleep completely. You're always thinking consciously and deliberating about decisions. It takes you forever to come up with the decision that I think I should do, and you don't have bandwidth for it. So you're always operating from the subconscious, but truthfully, that's how I operate my life. I operate my life from the subconscious. And the problem is most people starting off, when they want to change their life, you have to go conscious, right? Because you have to have intent. You have to consciously make the decisions to make better habits. But the problem is most people get stuck there, and that's why they go back. What you have to do is you start off subconscious and you have to go conscious because you have to go through. That's how the curve works. You start this way and then you want to make a decision, but the only way out is through. And you have to go back from the conscious that now you're making these intentful decisions to then go back subconsciously to where you're making all the right decisions without thinking twice. And I think that that's the lesson that's really sunk with me. I'm going to go deeper into that in the Uncle Rami business channel. It'll be linked down below. You guys will be able to check it out. But what I consume today, let's keep it on track. What I consume today, same mineral water in sparkling form and still form, 2 double espressos, Arabic coffee, had a bunch of calls today. And I will say my training today, I did 1 exercise per body part, basically all the way down, like from, shoulders, chest, even different parts, like incline, flat, rear delts, side delts, front delts, back, legs, quads, specifically hamstrings. I just ran it through a circuit. I felt like my body kept on muscle extremely well. I didn't do that much walking because I kind of wanted to test this out, but my walking, I have to go get groceries and stuff by foot. I prefer doing it that way. So technically I got a little bit of walking, but not like 10,000 steps walking. But I will say I'm extremely happy with what I did. There was times where it was like, all right, I'll be honest with you, it was that third day that was the worst. 72 hours, that third day was by far the worst. And then, it almost built up from that 24, 48 to 72 and then 96 and then 120. Today was probably the easiest day out of all the days I've had, truthfully. And I feel like I could go another 7, but to be honest with you, the reason I'm going 5 is because I think in terms of biological feedback, it is by far, the greatest time frame. Beyond that gets much more meditative in nature. But the most important part of this fast, if I really want to keep on a lot of those things, is integrating a lot of the stuff that I already got from the fast. And a lot of that has to do with stem cell generation that unlocks after the 72-hour mark. And so in the next video, what I'm going to show you is the refeed, because the refeed is just as important as the fast. If you want to take all of the hard work you've built in the 120 hours, I should say, plus at this point when I'm making this video, beyond. If you want to keep all that hard work, the refeed is just as important. That's why it's almost like the same thing as training and diet. Your training is just as important as your diet, and your diet is just as important as your training because they fuel each other. So if you really want to unlock the ability, not just fast 120 hours, I know a lot of people that do that and they throw all of their hard work down the drain. So if you don't want to make that mistake, now that you know how to fast, you're going to want to watch the next video because the refeed is going to be how do you actually keep all of the results from your fast, okay? And if you guys like this video and the next video with the refeed, I'll even make a separate video on the real benefits of fasting at each hour mark and break it down for you. I'll get a little scientific with it. I get to ask questions, Uncle Rami, is this backed by X, Y, and Z? I don't do that stuff, but I have to practice it and then understand what's happening. However, before you go, people always ask me, why did you do this fast? Why are you doing this? You're already in great shape. You're already lean enough. It was for Crusadia. And people ask me, who is Crusadia for? I used to kind of get annoyed when I get that question because I'd be like, dude, it's for anyone that has fire in their gut. But that's so vague, right? Crusadia is for the average man. And the average man has such a negative connotation, but I grew up in a middle-class family, and I love my family. But in my local environment, in my local town, amongst my family and amongst my friends, I was always the one that saw the world differently. And to be honest with you, everyone inside Crusadia is that outlaw, that rebel, the straight-laced guy that is the outlier from everyone else around them. The ones that do see the world from a different lens, that do understand the function of really getting tapped into that higher purpose of living. The one that is highly intented, but done in a way that feels so natural to them. It feels like breathing. And to be honest with you, we're all just the average man. That's all I am. I'm no different than the average dude in a middle-class family. And nothing is more difficult, believe it or not. I'm going to say this. If you come from poverty or middle class, it's actually more difficult to break out of the middle class because logically you have everything pointing in a direction where it's like life is good enough. Why would you risk that? You don't have to do all that. You're crazy for wanting to do that. And so you have not just the work that you'd have to do to become successful and really touch the upper echelons of life in terms of what you believe you're capable of. But you have everyone else telling you it's a bad idea, and it's people that you love and that love you. So you have both actively working against you, where the work to actually get there is difficult. But what's more difficult is sometimes those severed and temporary severed relationships that's required to get there. And that's who Crusadia is for, is those that know they have that ability, they have that fire in their gut. They have the ability to do it, but they just don't have the courage because no one else around them gets it. That's why the people in Crusadia feel so passionately about it. It's truthfully a home of one. That's why it's a digital country. Because nationhood and camaraderie and love for one another, there's nothing like that. And if that's you, you need to be inside. And you're crazy not to be inside. That's why I make it as cheap as I do. And I hate that word cheap. But that's why I make it as least expensive as I do dollar-wise. Because the goal is just for you to open up the vault in your brain to make it a no-brainer. But at the end of the day, you have to take a risk on yourself. And it's not even a risk because it's a $0 cancellation fee. That's why I do it that way. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to make it easy on you because anything that comes easy ain't worth it. The goal is to make that first step, to dive in as seamless as possible. Because once you're inside and you know if you're that type of person, you know you're meant to be here. But anyways, this is how I look starting off. And this is how I looked ending off. Isn't that crazy? But that's what this is all about, man. At the end of the day, it's about taking your mind and your body to a place it's never been before. Doing what you never thought was possible and have never done in your life. That is self-realization. That is you actually identifying and entering these places that require you holding on to tension and moving forward with it in synchronicity as one, man. Nothing like that. Anyways, I love you guys. From Uncle Rami to the Natural Crusaders, I love you guys. If you want to join Crusadia, it is down below. Crusadia family, I love you guys. Those of you guys that joined the fast, it was a nationwide fast. And honestly, what a pleasure to do it with you guys, man. Nothing like it. Anyways, I love you guys. Uncle Rami out. Peace. Dude, this thing's gonna be gone. You know, it's kind of sad. But I'm going to be so hungry. All right.